All right, today's question is, or the topic is, standard fuel cars versus full electric cars. What are the better buy right now? What's better? Like to you, what do you think? What do you think is the best option, or what are your thoughts on electric cars? Tyler, you drive a Tesla and everything. What are your thoughts on it? But you also said you recently went on a long road trip too.
And that was a hybrid.
In a hybrid.
Yeah, the Tesla, then we have a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
All electric, it's not, the infrastructure is not yet ready for it to be your primary family vehicle. Mm-hmm. If you're like to and from work, stuff like that is fine. But if you're going to go on things like road trips, it's just not there yet. And I would say the main reason is you get off the interstate, there's like 3 gas stations every exit, and there's 0 chargers.
Yeah.
And that's the problem you encounter when you want to go a long ways. It's not so bad. Like if you said you had to wait half an hour to charge, it's not horrible if it was there. If you got to drive half an hour out of your way each way to get there, then it really adds up.
Slows you down. I read that a lot of people that buy electric vehicles they don't realize that it's kind of a lifestyle change. I don't really know what they meant by that.
If it's your primary vehicle, yes. If it's your only one, like, oh, you gotta drive to Chicago or something like that, then it's not great for that.
You gotta plan a little more.
You have to plan a little more?
Yeah, plan more. And I guess just be, like, so at night, like, before, do you just check your battery percentage and you plug it in, or you just plug it in no matter what?
At first, I charge it, like, every night and then realized that was kind of unnecessary. Mm-hmm. So now, like every 2 or 3 days, much more in the summer. We're really hot. We charge it more often, like every night.
Yeah.
Much better in the winter for battery life than for summer stuff. And that's not bad. It's one of those things, a lot of families have more than one vehicle, like in a family situation. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a good, like, secondary vehicle for stuff around town, store, work, stuff like that. Perfectly fine. Really good. Mm-hmm. But when you ever have to go on a longer trip, I'd say like anything more than 2 hours. It's going to take more than 2 hours, which is, for most people, they don't drive that far too often. Yeah. But if it's going to be more than 2 hours, then it becomes kind of problematic.
Yeah.
Like we with the canceled flight, had to drive to Disney World, like on last minute notice. It would have been doable, sure, but it would have taken twice as long with an electric car.
I bought a brand new car a year ago, and we went back and forth about what do we do. Mm-hmm. But we have a Jeep Wrangler, a 2-door Jeep Wrangler that's not practical. It's not practical to begin with. Yeah. That literally is just for fun.
Yeah.
We drive it on the weekends. It's fun. It's just me and my husband.
Yeah.
But so we could not.
Yeah. And you guys like to go on journeys.
We like to drive. We like to. We're bored. We have nothing going on. Let's go drive around Southern Illinois. Yeah. And electric vehicle's not practical. So we're not ready. We were not ready to buy an electric, maybe a hybrid, but it wasn't really available. So there wasn't a whole lot of options then, and I didn't really like it.
So if they continue to make more charging stations and they continue to become more accessible, would that change?
I think the distance of like your battery is going to be a big factor for me as well. Yeah. Because what are they, like 200 to 300?
Mine's like almost 3 years old now. It's like 200 miles per charge. The newer ones are now like 350 just in the last few years. So that's been increasing. So I don't see that as that big of a barrier. Mm-hmm. And there's more charging things like every day being put. Once you look at the infrastructure of a large country, it's got 100-year-old infrastructure already of gas stations everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially
it takes a while to catch up.
We live in the Midwest. I don't know what it's like anywhere else. Like, is it easier in California where they're...
I bet some places are better than others.
Right.
Yeah.
But when we like to drive to Wisconsin a couple of times a year, it would take us, I think we looked, it would take us like an hour and a half longer drive. Yeah. Which isn't terrible. Yeah. But when I can just pull into a gas tank or a gas station and fill up my tank in 5 minutes and be,
on your way.
On my way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was like our hindrance right now. It's just not.
You think it's just too early? It's too early. Eventually it'll surpass the...
It's too early for it to be your primary vehicle.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Like, it's merged from like obscure to, in my opinion, a good secondary vehicle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I don't like as it's been progressing in probably like 5-10 years is going to be good primary vehicle.
Yeah.
But these things just take time.
As time goes on.
Technology and infrastructure both have to get better as time goes. They do.
I was reading somewhere that Europe is having a hard time.
I was gonna say cobalt is scarce.
Yeah.
You know what
They're
they
having
use for
Europe's
the
having a hard
batteries?
time with all the electric vehicles. They don't have the grid. They don't have the electrical power
Yeah.
system that can handle it all. So
Mm-hmm.
I've read somewhere where they were starting to like, yeah, we can't have these here, and they were banning them. I don't know.
Wow.
It'll be interesting to see how that changes.
What are your guys' thoughts? Have you looked into the possibility of getting electric vehicles sometime in the next 10 years?
No, it's not. It's not practical for me right now. Yeah, I live in apartments,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. So you can't really.
I live in the same places you guys do. I don't.
Yeah.
There's not really a whole lot of places to charge them. I'm not gonna go park it somewhere at a gas station, or not a gas station. You see them at like grocery stores and stuff. Sometimes,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
other places.
They're probably-
It just doesn't make sense for me to
Mhm.
have
Too soon.
and. Like, my dad's kind of into like trucks and that kind of stuff. I mean, I kind of want to get into that. Kind of expensive hobby to get into. So I kind of like cars, and I kind of like the old,
fuel.
I like the gas engines. That's just personal preference, though.
Yeah, no.
Gas engine for,
So,
for the at least next 5 years.
The next 5 years, and then
Do you guys think that all electric is the inevitable conclusion of cars, or there could be a pivot along the way? Oh, this
I
isn't
think
something
it'll
we
be
thought.
split unless they find another source of battery.
yeah, I think as time goes on, as they get better and there's more charging stations, I think it's going to be kind of like the iPhone. Remember, like when they first came out,
No one knew what to do with it.
nobody wanted an iPhone. Nobody wanted one. They're like, why do I need that? Why do I need to do all
Exactly
these things?
right. The life cycle of these things, right?
And now it's like it's kind of like a thing. Like it's just cool to have an iPhone or an Android or whatever. I think it's going to get to that level, but I don't think it's. I agree. I don't think it's. It's
a
a.
lot longer.
I think it's gonna take a lot longer.
I don't think it's a
you're-
good primary vehicle.
You're gonna have the diehard people that are gonna hold on to their fuel.
Yeah, there's going to be some. There definitely will be those kinds of people because today there's still people that walk around with flip phones, but how many?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just think in time, I see in the next what they say like fuel cars on average they last about 15 years. So that's going to take us around near 2050. We're still going to see fuel cars.
Well, I think if you look at it, like all these things, such a big part of people's lives, take years. I mean, like for example, smartphone, 2007, the first iPhone, so 15 and a half years ago,
Yeah.
went from I don't even know what this thing is to now like I'd rather get my wallet stolen than lose my phone kind of thing. It becomes like the
Yes.
backbone. So
Yeah.
and it took at first I was like, what am I going to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
It was like the biggest app at first was like the farting app. Like no utility, so they realized it was good. And even
Yeah.
if you look, electric cars say now, I think it's like 10 or we know like 10-15% of like cars in the last year sold were electric, something like that. So some, but if that's like a 10% more of the market each year, then in 10 years or 9 years,
Mm-hmm.
then it's more like 100, which takes like a decade.
Yeah.
Is there
Wow.
that many people though that are going to be willing to make that change though? Is that sustainable?
I personally think so. I think most of the manufacturers have said they're going to be all electric in the next like 10 years anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be
It's
so
gonna be
much. It's going to be,
unfortunate.
if I get a new car, it's going
Mhm.
to have to be electric or just hold on to the old one. I guess that's your
Yeah.
options too.
Yeah. And they're saying like
Fortune.
Like the
that.
future is coming, whether,
yeah.
like people said they didn't like the iPhone, that's fine, it's their choices, but it's coming regardless.
Yeah. And I saw like 2024, they're expecting a huge peak or a huge growth in electric vehicle sales because of that's when there's like some battery law that gets
Well, I don't know.
some battery standard law that goes into place in 2024 where almost all the batteries got to be the same or somewhat similar or something like that, and a lot of people are holding off until that goes into effect.
That's the other part too, as that develops, because like there weren't as many electric options when I got mine, but like it was like 220 was what it was sold on, and now you see stuff on TV, 300 miles, 350 miles
Mhm.
in a couple of years. So another couple of years down there, it's like, 400 miles, 500 miles. I'm like, this gets farther than my gas tank does over time.
Do those vehicle like those videos you see on the internet, or sometimes like those Teslas, like will just like go off the road for no reason at all?
I've
Do
heard
those ever scare you? Do those ever make you?
Not really.
No.
The first time you do some of the auto driving stuff, it really, really, really scares you. Then you kind of grow a thicker skin to it.
Yeah. I always hear about always see like cases in the news where like Teslas will like catch on fire or something
Any
like.
car can do that, though.
Yeah, but I mean, because of Teslas, because they're
More batteries.
yeah, and then
But your regular car can catch on fire.
It's like people are
You know what I
texting
mean?
driving too so
You don't
much.
hear about
like-
it though, like those Teslas. They're
Yeah.
just sitting
Is
in
it be-
people's driveways.
It's just because that's what the
I don't know.
narrative.
I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm
and then
curious.
The big oil pushing that.
yeah, and then there like some huge recall Tesla did because there's something wrong with their sensors or something like that.
I remember.
Do you know how
something
many?
about that.
There's so many recalls every year in different cars.
Yeah,
I would say the nice thing about
Shoot,
Tesla
my
recalls is it just updates
Don't
the
they
system.
just
Never have
update
to go
your
anywhere.
system?
yeah. That to me is what's intriguing about a Tesla is, you know, there's not a lot of maintenance to it. A lot of it can be done with a push of a button or like a simple upgrade.
There's been zero scheduled maintenance. I've had it. I hit a nail in a road and had to get a tire replaced. Outside of that, and that wasn't scheduled or anything.
Yeah.
But it's not like oil changes or anything, which is kind of nice.
Would be neat.
Nice. All right, so we're pretty much all saying that not right now, but eventually Teslas will be. But you're kind of
You're
like
not sure it's
I'm
coming
not
regardless.
You're just-
No,
the
I don't
question
think I'm
was
just
right
I
now,
don't
You're
know
right
if I'm an
now.
electric car guy.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So
As of where I stand right now, I can't see myself buying one.
yeah. But as of right now, no one really sees it as a primary vehicle,
No.
like that being better than a fuel car.
Not yet.
All right. Well, there we have it.
That is true, by the way. I would rather lose